So about 2.5 years ago, I had some kind of weird symptoms, I guess, and I developed a bit of a cough. So I just thought maybe it was a bit of a cold, and then one morning, I guess out of the blue really, I coughed up quite a lot of blood. So I went to the doctors. He sent me for a chest x-ray, and on the x-ray it revealed that I had a shadow on my lung, which was quite large. It was 8.5 centimetres in diameter, and obviously this wasn't right. January 2019 I got quite ill, again quite suddenly, and I went into hospital with sepsis, and it was from then that they found out that the tumour, which had obviously been monitoring for a couple of years, had got worse, and it had abscessed, so it had a hole in. It looked like a donut on the x-ray, and they said at that point that they would need to, I was going to need major surgery, not only to find out once and for all what it is, so to biopsy it, but also to take it out. So they set a date in March for my operation. So I think it was really at that point where my thoughts were that obviously God's been faithful this far in my life, although I guess when you become a Christian, you acknowledge that Jesus is Lord and that he's God over your life, and then you kind of get a bit of an idea of maybe how that might plan out then. But life doesn't always go the way that we'd planned. So I think I'd decided then in my heart that however this went, whatever was going to happen, however I was going to wake up, if I was going to wake up, that God was still God, and that he's still faithful, and he doesn't change. Yeah, so they removed the tumour, and the results of the biopsy unfortunately came back that it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. So when I was told that I had cancer, obviously, well, it was like that my worst fear had happened, I guess. Yeah, I think when they said obviously I'd need chemo, and I'd need 12 lots, blah 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 blah, and I just thought, okay, let's do that. And then obviously you expect it to work. so then when it's not worked the first time, or you know, it's been a good response, but it's not being good enough, and you have to have more intense treatment. Basically, I've just had to keep giving it back to God every time, and that's easier to do at the beginning. But then obviously when every time you hit a new challenge, to then, well, I've said I'm going to give this back to God, so that's what you need, that's what I need to keep on doing. In the middle of all this, I made a decision that I was going to carry on doing what I was doing at church. So I was going to carry on, and when I felt well enough to lead worship and be part of the worship team. The worship team have been a massive support through my whole journey. So to carry on doing that was really important. But also, I think when you're going through something like this and difficulties in your life, that you can become quite self-absorbed. And for me, deciding to still give, even when I might feel a bit rubbish, or I don't have much energy, or whatever, to still give meant that my focus shifted off me and onto God, because obviously when we worship, then it lifts our eyes off ourselves. So that being part of the worship team was brilliant for that. And obviously when I wasn't on stage, just coming to church and doing that, the same. And to when we serve other people, obviously then we can't give at the same time as be self-absorbed, so it kind of shifts my focus off myself and onto helping other people. I don't understand what's happening in my body. I have no control over that, but God understands, he knows, and so for me it's just been not trying to carry the stress and the anxiety and the worries and the and everything that comes with cancer, not trying to carry that myself, but to let God do that. I guess the whole journey surprised me in a way. It surprised you. Learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about where your faith is, who Jesus is, and for me, I'm probably closer to God than I ever have been, because I guess I don't have the answers. So, like I said before, obviously I've had to keep going back to God. But as well, I think God's given us the gift of peace, and I think more than ever I've really felt what that looks like, and that even in the storms of life, I guess, and whatever's thrown at us, that we can still have peace, and that it doesn't change for me. So obviously I've gone through all these different things and setbacks, I guess, and results that weren't particularly great, but I've still had that same peace. And I think I've learned what it means in the Bible, where it says that it's peace, not as the world gives, because it's a peace that almost like I can tell it's from God, because God doesn't change. He's constantly the same today, yesterday and forever, and I can feel that it's the same with his peace, that once we have that, and we have that gift of peace, that it's something that's solid and stable.